Well, here we are at social media this Friday.
Speaking of
Paige,
drama,
yeah, speaking of drama, we are obviously really excited for today. We have a little over 500,000 views a month on our social media, and we are excited to share with you what is actually working and then what is not working. Please type it in the chat. Obviously, the big question is right. What do you think gets you the most engagement from social media? That and again, I will bet the answer that we'll go through from again a lot of data. You know we love data. You know we love systems. We are not here to give you like the TikTok, Instagram hack. We are not here to give you the fad du jour. We're not here to give you right how to cheat the system. We are into proven systems that work.
yeah,
And again, we're excited. And my guess is the answer might surprise about 90% of people of what actually drives meetings and results.
yeah. So I'm seeing things like food and restaurants and neighborhood trends, and kids stuff. This one's interesting. I like this one. Conspiracy theories. That's that actually probably does get you the most engagement, although
Yeah.
that may not be the kind of engagement that you want, friends.
Yeah. Well, I think again, the big thing, what we believe, and this is again consistent on the message here today and consistent on the message from our meetings, is we don't believe that AI is going to replace real estate agents, but we believe that agents who use AI will replace real estate agents who do not. They will take
Yeah,
their business.
absolutely, without a doubt.
And so, okay, here's the answer, right? Paige, what does a Starbucks coffee cup on a table have to do with social media?
Well, the answer is this should be the end goal, right? Which is belly to belly, sharing time and space with another human. At the end of the day, if you don't have that relationship, you don't sell any homes. And so social media is an aspect like holding an open house. It is a piece of marketing. It is a piece of your business that you utilize to get to this table. But if you never find yourself at this table, you never have the relationships that you need that then enable you to be good at your job and to have the business that you want to have.
Wait. What do you mean? Just because I post a lot on social media and I have a 500,000 views on my stuff, it doesn't mean that randomly people are calling me and saying, "Oh my God, I need you to sell my house right now." It
Um,
takes more than that.
it might be surprising, but the funny part about all of this, while social media is what technically new, I mean, it's not new, it's been around for a long time, but compared to like a magazine ad or a newspaper ad, it's the new version of that. But what's not new is how this business works, and it's about conversations and meetings,
And
and
relationships,
and
right? It's
leads to
social.
relationships
You can't take the social out of social media. And remember, when you say is what is the one thing that people love to talk about more than anything else?
themselves.
That's exactly right. It's not you, it's them. And so here's what we are giving you today. We are giving you an executive assistant that is able to do the things for you on social media that will drive meetings and will drive results. I'm going to pop out for a second. I'm going to show you how this works. Again, very simple. It's going to run in the background. Again, you should be on a paid subscription for Claude. That's a great way to use your executive assistant. We're going to say run the reasons to call skill. And again, make sure has access to your folder, your Cowork HQ folder. Give you a training on how to set that up. You hit run and it will run in the background. We're going
and,
to go through
and,
what
and
that
you're
skill
gonna
does.
and you're gonna get to how to build this skill, and we're gonna give this skill away
That's
towards
exactly right. We're going to
future.
give you your executive assistant on social media that we find actually works and works really, really well to help you get results. And the reason, right, the reason that that process works is that what most people experience is they make posts, right? We make posts. We get 500,000 views a month, but few people call in from that. Therefore, the job of the social media feed is to find opportunities for you to be able to call out and have conversations.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Your goal, and when you're walking through your business, and the previous slide mentioned this, is you're sweeping for Ford, which Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Those are the reasons why people typically move. Gone are the days of COVID where you're like, I got these kids asking for snacks and I need a bigger dining room. So I'm just going to move because it's fun and everybody else is doing it. People typically move because of life events, and those life events center around family, occupation, what they do for fun, and then the dream of what they want their life to look like.
It's exactly right. And even again, when interest rates, again, as they have moved up, right, people and who have locked in interest rates, they're like, why am I moving? I'm moving because my house isn't big enough and I have a new child. I am moving because all my kids are out of the house and my house is too big. I'm moving because I got a new wife. I'm moving because my wife went away. I'm moving because, right, I have a new job and my new job takes me to Illinois, right? I am moving because of life events. And I think many agents know, as you've heard this over the years of social media, is that social media is full of that data.
That's exactly right. But the problem, Bob, is I don't have the time to go through and find all that data. Or even when I'm just scrolling through because I just want a break, I want a break. I don't actually really want that to be my work time. And so I am certainly guilty of going, oh, look, Susan's pregnant. I should reach out. And then that thought comes in my head, and then it goes out my head, and I don't reach out to Susan, who's now pregnant. And that's a wonderful reason to reach out to Susan because that's the F in Ford.
That is exactly right. And it is only if, again, you're able to say social media is full of reasons. How do I then, and again, most busy real estate agents are like, oh my gosh, I'm not organized of who are all the people I should be, tracking. How do I then put that into a very simple daily or weekly call list? Right here are the people I need to call. How do I then know exactly what to say in order to get a meeting? And again, we are in a relationship business. This is why, again, we think good real estate agents are immune from AI taking your job because of the relationship. And you can't have a relationship if you're not belly to belly to people.
That's exactly right. And so the goal then with social media is to allow Claude and allow the AI to help you search for the reason to reach out to them, but you still have to make the call and you still have to attend the meeting. So it doesn't do everything for you, but it is a tool in your toolbox that you need to utilize, not just let that toolbox sit on the side and be ineffective.
Okay, so here's an example, right? And again, I would do this a little bit is just because we ran this both last night and early this morning, and I'm going to show you the results. This is exactly what the Claude skill is working on, but let me give you the examples of what Claude found last night and again this morning. And so you see how the skill works in action, right? For most real estate agents, right, looking through past clients that maybe you helped move out of town, when you see a message like this is gold,
Yeah,
right?
it sounds like we may be moving back to Houston. That is a great
There's a
way to pick
great
up the
reason
phone.
to
That's a
call.
great reason to call. I
And
mean, I
for
don't think
many,
it gets any easier than
it
that.
does not get any easier. This is a layup. And again, the problem for most real estate agents is they're like, okay, I know my past clients, but it's not organized. It's maybe in some kind of a messy sheet. And the thing I am certainly not doing every day, but I know will be valuable, is if I went to the 100 or so people in my world and I trolled through their social media to find nuggets to call, this is about as good as it gets.
But right, the chances of me being on Facebook at that moment and that being presented to me in the algorithms of what I'm seeing is pretty slim. But with this AI tool that we're about to give you, it can find this for you, which then creates the opportunity for you know exactly who to call.
That is exactly right. And again, this is the belief that we have in proven systems that work, not hacks that might get you a spike on views, but ultimately doesn't move your business and the life that you want to create.
And
Okay.
can I also add something here where I think a lot of us would maybe misstep here, right? The misstep is it's great to follow up and post something on this wall, but if I never pick up the phone to call this person, I have missed the opportunity. You have to be willing to pick up the phone
Paige, it's crazy, right? What you mean, the phone is still
and
a
talk to
valuable
someone.
exercise in social media?
It is amazing. But that relationships happen in real life with real conversations, not simply just posting on somebody's wall. This is the initial, but you have to take the action.
Okay, and I get it, right? So this is a layup. This is easy. This is gold. It doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen every week. And candidly, it probably won't happen for you every month. So what we have for you is an overview of what does it look like on a normal basis, depending on the size of your following, right? So here's another really good one, right? LinkedIn job updates. Page, obviously people get the chance to see this as it comes through their feed. So-and-so got promoted. Why is it an interesting hook to be able to call somebody when they got a promotion and they bragged about it?
Well, first of all, who doesn't appreciate somebody reaching out and saying, "Congratulations, you did awesome," right? As human beings, we want to be better friends and we want to have better relationships. And so putting yourself in the position to be that kind of person, and that's the way we look at social media. What social media is for me is to help me be the friend and person that in my heart I want to be, but I'm restricted by time. And so calling someone that has had a promotion, that's phenomenal because oftentimes that promotion comes with more money. And sometimes with more money comes the need and desire or the dream of having a different house or a different opportunity. Um, Most of the time, just because I got promoted, it does not mean that I'm immediately buying a new house. I mean, it could, but it typically doesn't. But my job as the realtor is to put myself in the flow, in the relationship to be present when they're ready. So typically the time clock on something like this is 3 to 12 months. But if I'm in their world in that time, then must be present to win.
That is exactly right. Right. Again, it is social media gives you a reason to make a phone call. The phone call leads to a conversation. The conversation leads to getting belly to belly with people. The belly to belly is the relationship, and that leads to the outcome you want.
What doesn't happen is I see you're promoted. Would you like to buy a new house? That's
Nobody likes
probably
those
not the
calls.
right way.
Not the right way to do
But
that.
the answer is I'd love to hear about your new job. Can I take you to for a cup of coffee to celebrate? And you
Phenomenal.
have a conversation.
Here's another really big one that is going on right now, right? Because it's back to school season. And so, again, in the back to school season, there's a tremendous amount of things out there in the F camp, right? F is for family. And so, when there is a signal and it says, right, my youngest one just started high school, Paige, how is that an interesting clue for real estate agents?
Well, for those of you who know Houston well, if you're not fortunate enough to live in a school district where you have the real ability to go to the same, live in your house and go to elementary, junior high, and high school, and it's easy, and there's a yellow school bus across the street that picks up all your children, it is not uncommon that people need to make moves based on commutes. So if I now find that my child has started high school and they're not driving yet, and it's an effort and an energy for me to get to the new school that I've been zoned to, I might be considering a move. If I were in your shoes, those of you on this call, what I would be spending my August and September doing is calling every one of my clients who have kids and finding out how the start of the school year is going. That's it. And you will be amazed at what falls out.
Paige is kind of just a quick example of that, right? You would tell about the dinner that we had a week ago with a family who's commuting from the inner loop out to Memorial, and what that process looks like for the wife every single day.
She gets up, they get the kids in the car, and it's an hour because we all know that crossing 610 and 59 to get to the I-10 corridor, I mean, those are the three worst intersections that you could possibly go through. It's an hour to get there. It's an hour to get home. And oh gosh, guess what? They also get to pick up that child. They don't just leave the child there. So that is 4 hours a day that woman spends in the car.
And of
What's
course,
the likelihood that in a year she's going to want to keep doing that?
first week sounds wonderful.
Sounds
No
great.
problem at all. We get to spend time together in the family. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Right? but that is a phenomenal reason to stay in touch. And again, it's not a social media post that's going to do the relationship. It's not just, hey, I left them a voicemail. Hey, it's not just hey, I had one quick call and they said everything's fine and the commute doesn't bother them. It is, let's get an opportunity to get belly to belly to talk about what's really going on in life.
Yep. And it's just
Okay.
a conversation about life because people, it is not your job to put into their head, you need to move. I need you to buy a house for me right now. You need to be there to experience life with them. And that's what this skill is going to give you the opportunity to do.
Here's another really good one that this skill's going to uncover for you, right? So if there is somebody, they're like, okay, my youngest is a senior. Okay, so senior in high school, what does that mean, right? And Paige, why would people consider life changes when they have a really big house and no kids in the house?
Because who wants to pay for those bedrooms that nobody's using? And you certainly don't want those little children to come back.
Well, it's a big one, and again, it's as we have had a number of people move, and again, this is a very high class problem in a lot of wealthy areas where the house may have, 4, 5, 6 bedrooms. And they're like, hey, and this was a real life situation is the wife knew that she needed to move when she called out the plumber, and the plumber gave the advice of, well, you might need to make a plan so you can pee in the different bathrooms on a regular basis because the bathrooms need to consistently get flushed. And the wife was like, the last thing I need in my life is to figure out how to have a pee plan because my house is too big. It's time for me to downsize.
Yeah. Yeah. That is absolutely the time to do it.
That's a real story. And
And
again,
that's a real story.
it's
Mhm.
a phenomenal opportunity. And again, it doesn't typically come with, I'm going to go make this post on social media. I'm going to make one phone call. It gets in the opportunity to get belly to belly with people. And this is a really good reason for a
But
call.
these are all examples that within the skill that we're using for us, that it's picking up. So we're able to then be present in their life.
Now, again, this is the big thing is right from an organization with 500,000 views a month is here telling you that the way that you get more good opportunities is not to go get 500,000 views a month, right? The way that you get more opportunities is to use social media to be social and for you to use the phone as an outbound tool to go get more meetings.
Mhm.
And so, what this executive assistant tool does for you is it comes back and it says, here are the calls that I recommend that you make today.
Mhm.
In addition to that,
Which
it
is
comes,
super helpful, right? Because otherwise, I mean, we've all been there. We're like, oh gosh, going through my phone, who should I call today? How do I know if I'm dialing the right person? This is a great way to just say, this makes it easy. I have a reason to call Sally because Sally said she might be moving back to Houston. I have a reason to call Jill because her youngest is now a senior and I can check in on that.
and here's the other thing it does is it says it wants to get your name into people's feeds, right? So you consistently show up and it says, here are the comments. You have the opportunity to decide what you want it to do. Should it give you the list of comments and you make them all? Should it go into the feed and should it specifically post the items there and you have to click the post button? What is the way that you want it personalized? And I'll drop out of the presentation and show you exactly how it looks. Is it will give you a cheat sheet either that you can put in your browser or that you have in PDF. This is what just ran. And it said, right, here's somebody who just bought a new practice, a medical practice, right? Very interesting reason to call. Here is somebody who is a partner at a mortgage company, 14 years, right? Gives you a reason to specifically call. Here is somebody again who has spent 11 years at a firm, right? Good reason to call. And it gives you this cheat sheet and it gives you a cheat sheet of comments to make as well. And again, you can adjust that where it says, open the browser, comment on my behalf. And it gives you that as a good, high quality executive assistant in social media with experience would tell you.
Because the comments are helpful, right? It puts you in their flow, but the comment alone is not enough. I mean, how many on this call, when it pops up in LinkedIn that says I've had a work anniversary, your LinkedIn feed is then full of congrats, where somebody just hits the congrats button and then that's it, right? Does anybody pick up the phone and call you and say congratulations that you've been at whatever company for however long? That's the differentiator of where there is a relationship versus somebody who's just commenting and posting.
Because ultimately, where you get value is doing 10% more work than the next agent, which delivers ultimately you to stand out from the crowd. This is a game that I love to play, and here's another way that we've built this, and we recommend that you use it. If I say, Paige, think of things that are white. Where does your brain, right? Your brain goes like, oh my gosh. If I say, Paige, think of things that are white that live in our refrigerator.
Milk, eggs, yogurt.
I love it, right? And so all of a sudden, in an easy way, it's easier for you to be able to put that together. The way that we've built this executive assistant for you is to asking you to group people that are important to you. Because if we said, hey, who's important to you, your mind might go blank. But specifically, we recommend 6 categories, right? Who are your sellers? Okay, easy to get your list. Who are your buyers? Okay, get a list. Who are your suspects, right? Who are the people that are like, oh, I had to sit down with them. I don't know what they're going to do, but they said that they have to move at some point because their house is too small, right? Partners are big. Mortgage partners, title partners, referral partners, other people that you're doing work with, HVAC companies. Get a list of partners.
The plumber with the P plan.
Right? Past clients. That's a really big one, especially for agents that have been in the business for a while. Even those that have moved out of town, like our example from today. And then community, right? If you live in the Heights, you're like, who are the people that are active in the Heights? What are the social groups that are active in the Heights?
Who are your neighbors?
Gives you an opportunity to put them in. And it's okay if you are at HPT, we have a list for you. If you're at Ren, we have a list for you. We make it easy. But if you don't have that, you can ask Claude to take your phone, put it into a Google Sheet, and then it can track the Google Sheet and it'll organize it for you.
Yeah, which is great. And the skill that we're going to give you, it does all of these things.
Again, and then what it does, right, the way it works is just like you would want your executive assistant to work. It'll say is, okay, I can't go comment on Paige's post every day. That's going to look like spam.
Because that's creepy.
It's creepy and weird. But instead, what you want it to do is you want it to troll, right? Hey, go look at all these profiles on a regular basis during the week and find things and then come back to me with data. And specifically, again, it gives you recommendations of who to call and how to open a conversation.
That's helpful.
It gives you a comment in your voice. And then it's going to go through your top about 100 about every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how often, again, you want to run it based on your personal preferences.
That's very helpful. I mean, that's essentially, it gives you the exact process and plan that if I were to actually create that for myself, it would take me hours and hours and hours to do.
And again, the skill is live. Here's the QR code. David, if you'd also drop that in the link that we send out, we'll give you exactly what that looks like. One of the things, Paige, would it be helpful just to kind of walk through what the skill looks like?
Yeah, and when you talk about it, I mean, because I know we've got folks in the call that their range of expertise in AI probably ranges. So can we get the base level as when we say what is a skill, what does that even mean?
It's a great question. So think of it this way. You're a real estate agent and you hire your first human assistant. And you say that human assistant shows up on Monday and you're like, okay, human assistant, call her Becky. Becky, your first job is to go get me coffee. And Becky goes over and she comes back with coffee. And you look at this and you're like, Becky, this is crazy. Like, why would you get me this coffee? Like, I only drink almond milk, and you put half and half in it. And
but I didn't do the job of telling Becky how to make my coffee. I just said, get coffee.
And so you're like, okay, Becky, go back and do it again. And then Becky comes back again and she's like, here's your coffee. And you're like, oh my gosh, why would you use a paper cup? I only use this mug over here. And Becky's like, oh, okay, now I learned. And then you're like, go get me coffee. And she comes back and you're like, okay, Becky, this isn't hot, right? I don't know what you did with the coffee, but it sat somewhere and now it's cold. And so every time, right, in the human world, right, humans aren't going to love it when you give them feedback and correct. They're like, why couldn't you tell me the first time?
But that's how we learn.
But that's how we learn. With AI, it's a similar process. And you have a variety of things that you have to teach it. And again, this is typically where management falls apart. And this is typically where management falls apart in real estate because everybody's busy. Oh my gosh, I forgot to sit down and write all the things that I need to tell you. Here's where the coffee machine is. Here's where the cups are. Here's how I like my coffee. Here's where you get it. And specifically then, when there's an issue, you're not giving it feedback. And that's why typically management is hard because it's just a communication gap.
Right. Right.
So when we say we give you a skill, and I'm just going to show you this quickly, and again, you can get it directly right there, is in the skill, and again, it's a little hard to see, and it is a lot of text, especially for those of you that are high D, high I's on the call. You're going to be like, I'm never going to read this. And this is exactly why we give it to you, right? Here's the goal for what it does, right? It finds reasons for you to be able to pick up the phone, and it allows you to get in their message. Here are reasons to call, right? The signal is not the post, right? So, hey, don't go spam, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Don't reuse the post platform suggestion, right? You can't sound like everybody else and expect to get different results.
Kind of like that LinkedIn, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations.
That is not value add, that is spam,
Mm-hmm.
right? What does it do in the first run? How does it look for people? How does it sweep? How many does it go through? And as you notice, right, this is a long skill.
That's
right?
a lot. That's beyond the skill that most of us on the call have in our own world with social media of what we do.
And one of the things that we've been committed to as an organization, because this is what we believe, again, is that AI will not replace humans, but it does so much. Agents who use AI will replace agents who do not. And so what we're giving you here is, again, a lot of work effort that actually works in our organization that you can use.
So if I just take that skill and I dump it into Claude, it's going to come up with those lists in a way that gives me reasons to call, who to call, and it will give me the option of either posting directly and me not approving it, or showing me what I can post and giving me the way to post it.
That is exactly right. And again, I say this is the differences. So now it's like we have a dog. Our dog typically does not mind very well. And so if we went to the dog trainer and we gave our dog away for a month, which my wife will never do, the dog might come back and the dog might be like, okay, I'll actually sit and stay and come and behave, right? But then it's still our dog. And we want our dog to act like us in our house. And so what we're giving you is right, the dog training skill, but it's your dog, right? You're going to have to personalize it for things that you want. So when you go to this QR code, you're going to get this skill. And again, the skill, it works for us. It delivers results. It adds a lot of value. And it's in the voice of what we believe, which is not tricks and hacks, but instead, how do you build a relationship? But you're going to want to personalize it for your voice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then again, social media is giving you the reason to call. The call is the conversation, and the meeting is the relationship. And it's the relationship that drives your business.
It's the natural funnel for building relationships, and ultimately people buy and sell with people that they know and trust. And you don't have knowing and trusting without establishing a relationship.
That is exactly right. And again, as part of the process for what we give you is, here are the base skills that we find that are working. Here's the data that we're analyzing to find out what is a waste of time versus not what is a waste of time, and giving you the tools to be able to be at the top of your game.
That's fair. Can I also give an unsolicited advice pro tip on this? Is that all of these skills, and even if you drop it into Claude and it gives you all the things that you need, that information without action means nothing. And so the pro tip I would give you, and those of you who know me know that I am a massive fan of time blocking. If you do not time block on your calendar for your business development time, and essentially this skill allows you to have business development time in a way that is enjoyable and in a way that you're actually going to reach people and have real conversations of people that you know. But if you don't put it on your calendar and you don't time block it, it will not happen, because we all know that life gets busy. And specifically, I find in my life, if it doesn't get on the calendar before noon, my day gets into the way and my afternoon is destroyed. So if you are serious about growing your business this fall, or your business is not where you want it to be, it probably is reflective of what's on your calendar.